How's it going, my truant people? Dr. Slacking, the Slacking Doctor, back with another tier list video, as today I am ranking typical tier 1 Pokemon in a Galar Dex metagame. What that means is like Wi-Fi leagues and stuff like that. They're classic tier 1. I've taken the GDL, which is the league that I'm in right now. The draft analysis went up on Monday. I've taken their tier 1 as a kind of representation. There will be some things in here that you don't think should be in tier 1. There might be some things I don't think should be in tier 1. It's just a representation of what you might typically see in tier 1 of a Wi-Fi draft league right now. I'm going to rank these Pokemon based on their kind of viability as a tier 1 pick, based on, you know, how good they are, how hard they are to prep for, how well they synergize with other things you want to pick up in a draft, how easy they are to draft around, role compression, all that shit that we'll get into when we start talking about them. If you don't agree with my opinions, let me know which of my opinions offends you most down below. I should also say, if I put something in tier D, it doesn't mean I think it's garbage, it just means I don't think it's a great tier 1. It's still better than a tier 5, but I don't think it's a great tier 1. But yeah, I have no idea where I'm going to rank any of this stuff, so this is pretty exciting. I have played in a couple of Wi-Fi Dex leagues now, so I have some experience. If you guys would like to see more of these, hit the like button, let me know, because I could always rank the tier 2 Pokemon, the tier 3 Pokemon, tier 4, and tier 5 Pokemon. Also, I should say, obviously, there are different formats. This is going based off points in draft leagues. I could do it based off tiers. I could do it based off points. I could do it based off, like, the hybrid system that UBL did. But this just seems the most classic and standard to use. So, that's why we're doing it like this. And this isn't reflective of, like, Smogon or doubles or anything like that. Of course, with the WBE, probably going to popularize some doubles draft league stuff soon. This is purely about singles draft league. I want to express that. Anyway. Let's jump into it, because I've wasted enough time explaining what this is. If you guys aren't already subscribed, please consider doing that. And we have a subscriber Discord link down in the description. You can join. As I put Mew straight away in S tier, this is the closest thing to my mind to getting banned that I think we had in the GDL. I didn't think it was like bannable when I first saw it, but it's so good now. Like, the amount of moves this thing gets is just insane, with it getting like DD this generation, spikes, and then getting buffs with things like Poltergeist coming to it and stuff. Like, it just has too much now. It has too much. Mew can do everything, literally everything, and I think it's gone borderline too far. I do think it's the closest thing to being bannable that we have. If there had been a vote on it at the time, I would have voted no ban. Now, I might have voted ban. I was prepping with Eric for this thing the other day, and like, I think it's a little bit too much, maybe. So that definitely goes S tier. I personally wouldn't draft it. I don't think I'd get the most out of it, but I think that's another important thing, is it's not about what I would draft. Like, I wouldn't draft Chansey, but it doesn't mean Chansey was useless in everyone's hands. This is about ranking how good I think they are in the format more objectively than some of my other tier lists where I just give opinions. This is me trying to be more objective of what I really think the true value of this mon is in the hands of a player that's going to get the most out of it, and I think Mew pretty much is the ultimate flexibility. So, Azumarill. And these might move because I don't have a frame of reference yet. It's a few notches down. I'm going to put it in C tier. I think it's good. I think it is good. You would never really want to pick it up round 1. It does need some team support drafting around it, because it's a bit of a weird water and fairy type for your team, which are two kind of standard types that people just want to pick up, like a fat fairy and a fat water. It is decently fat. You can bring AV sets and stuff, can bring banded, choice sets are viable, as well as kind of the standard belly drum citrus, right? Without Z moves, arguably it's marginally worse, but marginally. Yeah, I don't know. Azumarill is one of these things where it's fine. It's very good. It's very, very good. It should never be in tier 2, in my opinion. People will try and move this thing down sometimes because they'll be like, you don't see it used enough. That's not a reason to move something down. It might move up. It might move up as we go on. Scizor, I'm putting straight in D tier. I'll be honest, even in the Wi-Fi metagame with Hidden Power Flygon, I still think this is a tier 2. I love Scizor. I won PGBL with Scizor on my team. Scizor is a fantastic Pokemon. I've drafted it many, many times. Another great setup sweeper with Bullet Punch, Swords Dance and stuff. Technician, Dual Wing Beat's pretty nice coverage for it now, and whatever else it got. It's still, to my brain, isn't that good to be a tier 1. I really don't think it is. Its speed tier is still pretty middle. Its bulk is respectable, but not off the chain. Like, you will break it down. It's a great pivot, But that's really where its strength lies for me. Is I think it's a great pivot, good defogger. Without Pursuit, I think it suffered a little bit. I really like Pursuit on it. Mega Scissor, so good now. Regular Scissor, I don't think hits the same heights. And this might be the most controversial one to put this down here, but I still think it's a tier 2. I always thought last generation it was a tier 2. I never liked when leagues put it in tier 1. I still don't. It's closer now, but yeah, I'd move this down a tier if it was me. I'm going to put Tyranitar there because Tyranitar... I love Tyranitar. I drafted it in tier 1 without batting an eyelid. But without Pursuit, and with Body Press spam everywhere, it is worse than last generation. And it is borderline tier 2 in my opinion. I'd still draft it in tier 1. I wouldn't move down. If this is my league, I'm keeping T-Tar in tier 1. Some people are going to be raging like T-Tar's better than Scissors better than T-Tar. I disagree. Weakness policy sets on T-Tar with Rock Polish, still pretty flames. DD sets still good. Choice Banded, oh, still so good. Choice Band Scissors still good, but for me, Sand as well is so valuable on offense. Sand offense is still great. I love it. And I don't mean Sand offense with like an extra drill. I mean just an offensive team with a Tyranitar to chip things down. It's the kind of team that I have spammed since Gen 7 and I love it. I like these two together even, but yeah, T-Tar, no Pursuit sucks, right? No Pursuit really helped, really hurts this thing. Pursuit was one of its main niches. I still think it's sensational, but I do think it's probably lower than like Azumarill, for example. Clefable, I'm going to put A tier. It's the definitive Fat Fairy. It gets rocks up, it wishes, it can aromatherapy, it can soft boil, so it can either pass wishes and heal its own teammates up, or it can just heal itself up with soft boil. It can be a cleric for the team, it can be a stealth rocker, T-Wave support, knockoff support. This thing's move pool as a support Pokemon, sensational. Then you get into Calm Mind Life Orb with Magic Guard, so you're not taking chip from Life Orb. Calm Mind Life Orb sets as Wall Breaker, not bad. Fairy plus fire coverage is pretty decent, pretty strong, hits most things. Apart from opposing fire types, but bulky fire types aren't that common. And you can get knockoff to knock off their heavy duty boots, which is super nice in this generation. So I like a fairy with knockoff for now. It's always been good to get rid of steel types leftovers anyways, though, as most steel types don't have reliable recovery. So yeah, it is Clefable. I mean, it's Mr. OU from earlier on in this generation, right? It does what it does. Never gonna be bad to me still. If you want a Fat Fairy, pick it up. You can't go wrong. Cosmic Power and stuff. Or it's just there's so many sets you have to prep for against the Clefable as well. When you play something like Azumarill, you know, like it's either going to be Perish Trap, Sap Sipper, or physically offensive and stuff like that. It's going to be kind of a wall breaker. These two sort of similar. Setup Sweeper maybe, or Pivot in Scissor. Setup Sweeper or Breaker maybe in Tyranitar. But with Clefable, it can be a wall, it can be a wall breaker, it can be a Setup Sweeper with like Cosmic Power sets. Yeah, it can do everything. It can do everything. Jirachi, similar versatility. I shit on Jirachi all the time. I'm constantly talking wild trash about Jirachi. But I do think it's good. I don't think it's Clefable good, though. I think this generation is really good with, like, Wish and U-Turn. Like, really nice to pass that. Great Steel type in a format with a restricted number of Steel types. I might move it up. Good Scarfer, good Flinch down option. But to me, this is, like, the standard. If you B tier seems like I'm saying it's bad. I'm not. I'm just saying it's, like, bang in the middle of what a tier 1 is, and to me that's what this is. It's not like a great tier 1, but you pick it up in tier 1, you don't mind. It's solid. It's very solid. Weavile, phenomenal speed tier, loses Pursuit again, which definitely hurt it because you do want to be able to pick this thing up and Pursuit Trap with it. But I think it's actually being slept on. I think it's still better than Tyranitar and Scizor. I really do, because I think its speed tier in this metagame is so valuable. I think it's 125 base speed. With like Sword Stance, Triple Axle, Knockoff, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard priority. Priority is so valuable to a lot of offense teams, because otherwise you'll lose to a lot of offense killers. I think this thing is fantastic. Do I think it's better than Azumarill? I'd draft it over Azumarill. Do I think it represents better value? I think it's very close. I actually do, because I think priority plus speed plus the fact that it can set up itself Yeah, and that's going to be a controversial take, because a lot of people like to shit on Weavile right now. Heavy duty boots for this thing is not bad either, because one of the things with Weavile, sometimes last generation you didn't need a power buff to revenge certain teams, like against offense teams. You didn't need a choice band to be able to break through them. You just needed to be able to pick things off as a revenge killer. Well, heavy duty boots means you can come in multiple times as a revenge killer and do that. I actually lost IBL D-League Finals, my first Wi-Fi league, to OP Jellicent with a Scarf Weavile. So, yeah, when I thought I'd won. So, even Scarf Weavile in Draft League can be good speed control, which is funny. Excadrill, we're back up to A tier for me. I actually think this thing's better than Clefable in Draft. I kind of do. Yeah, I think pre-DLC, this thing was like top 3 to 5 in the format. I drafted it in UBL for that exact reason. I thought it was so damn good. With sand, without sand, Mold Breaker, Earthquake is just kind of broken, right? With rock coverage as well, it's just kind of broken. Plus Sand Rush for speed control, phenomenal in a very slow metagame still. It's still a slow metagame. It's got faster, but it's still slow. Rapid Spin buff, fantastic for this thing with Mold Breaker sets. I actually beat OP Jellicent, speaking about him for the Weavile. I actually beat him in UBL with a Rapid Spin set on Excadrill, if I remember correctly, Mold Breaker against his Hydreigon. So, yeah, it definitely is fantastic. It was so good in UBL. I think it's better than Clef. I really do. Maybe this is personal bias, but I think it is. It's almost S tier. Pre-DLC, it would have been S tier, but now I'm not sure. Conkeldurr... Conkeldurr is almost tier 2 to me as well. I know it gets defog. I know it's great in Trick Room. Trick Room in Draft League singles is never that great. I know it's a phenomenal wall breaker. Pre-DLC, it was definitely tier 1. Post-DLC and post all the Swords of Justice coming back, you got Komodo, you got the Swords of Justice, you got Halucha. There's a lot of fighting types in this tier. You got the Urshifus. Honestly, this one's borderline tier 2 for me as well. I like Conkeldurr, it's fine, but how often do you see Conkeldurr used that well? I think Vepsis in UBL really used it quite decently, but quite often I see this thing just flop. His speed tier and stuff is not great. You can prep for it in Draft League as well. It's good. It's definitely good. But it is borderline getting moved down for me. I'd rather have T-Tar. People are going to hate that. People are going to hate my T-Tar love. I don't care. I don't care. T-Tar's so fucking good. Gothitelle. Look, Gothitelle's a weird thing to me because... yeah, you can prep Shed Shell on a lot of stuff and you'll be fine. Sure. But the fact that you're running Shed Shell instead of Leftover, instead of whatever... is useful. The fact that you now have to, maybe bring pivot moves, the fact that you don't want to choice lock certain things, this is all fantastic. And I spoke at the beginning about ranking things partly on what prep they force. Gothitelle forces so much prep. And yes, if your opponent preps for it, they probably won't lose to it. But if they prep for it, they might lose to other things, or they might not be able to beat other things that they would have beaten with choice items or whatever before. So, yeah, I think this thing is good. I think it represents great value on a team. I've seen my good friend Aquarius use it pretty well. It's just obnoxious, and I think for that, it deserves to be a solid A tier, Mom. Ooh, I'm not liking how this looks. I feel like I'm going to get some hate. Ferrothorn... yeah, Ferrothorn without hidden powers is really good now. Again, I've always thought of it as a tier 2 mon previously. Right now, it's one of the best steel types in the format. It goes down here though because I still feel a little bit uncomfortable with it being a tier 1. Like it is great hazard support and stuff, but it is passive. It is exploitable. Body press is nice for it. Knockoff is nice. T-Wave, I think, is nice. It has a great support move pool, and Hazard's fantastic, but Hazards are the worst they've ever been with heavy-duty boots floating around. I think Spikes, and I've said this multiple times in my videos, I think Spikes are better than Rocks right now, because most mons that are affected by Spikes, like, let's take a look at T-Tar and Weavile here, right? Weavile will wear boots sometimes, so your Rocks won't matter. T-Tar is never wearing boots, so your Spikes will matter. So, I kind of prefer Spikes in a way, because they chip certain things down more. Same with, like, Jirachi, for example. So yeah, I don't know. I still kind of think Ferrothorn's a tier 2. Like, I think when we get the next DLC, I'd put all these boys in tier 2. I'll be honest. If we get some, I think we get some good shit back as well. Lots of legendaries. These lads all go down to tier 2 for me in that expansion. Maybe not yet. Maybe they're just bottom tier 1 right now. He's probably worse than Conkeldurr. He probably is. He might be worse than Scizor, to be fair. I just like Ferrothorn. Yeah, he might be worse than Scizor. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I'm going to go there. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. You don't care that much. Hydreigon. Let's have a look. Hydreigon. So good now. Like, again, this thing to me was not... Was this thing a tier 1 in Gen 7? Was it a tier 2 in Gen 7? Was it borderline? I feel like it was a tier 1, right? My brain's trying to tell me it was a tier 2, but I don't think it was. Nastyplot, so good. So good. Love me some Nastyplot. DD physical is pretty memey, but funky. I'd put this top of solid. It definitely still has its weaknesses, right? I fucking hate Scarf Hydreigon still. People spam it and it's wank, but it is still really good. It's really nice bulky. I love like bulky leftovers Roost Hydreigon. Really, really nice. Still a good pivot. Still like now with Nastyplot, phenomenal wall breaker. I think this thing has been actually underutilized. I'm going to draft it at some point and I think I'm going to fuck shit up with it because I think it hasn't been used that well yet. I think people haven't abused it nearly as well as they should have done. That's my opinion. But there might, like, I'm talking Wi-Fi leagues that I've followed. There might be, like, showdown leagues where people have been killing with this. I'm sure there is. Shout out to my boy Stephen Thurston. He teared up, I can't remember the league acronym now, but the league that Just Kurt used to run when I was there a long, long time ago in Gen 7. So there are players that get the most out of this. I just haven't seen it this generation with Nastyplot yet. But I think people will see, like, this thing go crazy at some point. Volcarona. I never used to like Volcarona that much. Heavy duty boots definitely makes this thing fucking obnoxious. Like Z moves was a nerf, but boots was a buff and a big one at that. I think it's a little bit overhyped though. I'm gonna put it solid top of B. Like I think it's not quite like top tier, but it's probably better than the rest of these guys. So, but I don't think it's as good as these lads. People would be like, "How are you putting Drill above all these boys?" I like some Drill. Terrakion. Yeah, Terrakion was pretty underwhelming to me in EWT, but I don't think I drafted around it that well. I think it was so much weight was put on his shoulders to be my one and only offensive mon. I think if you pick this up on a proper offense team, it's really good. Because even on that EWT team, it still did well in the games where I played it well. I remember the game against Frosted, even though I lost, where I was making all those doubles and shit. Whoo, Terrakion went crazy. So it definitely is a good mon if you play it right and if you draft around it right. I think it's worthy of being middle of this tier 1. Hyrum got a bit of a buff with heavy duty boots and freeze dry, but again, I feel like I haven't seen it used that well. My boy Uzi gonna use it quite well in EWT, but I haven't seen it like really pop off. Although I didn't get to catch many of his games because he uploaded them late, to be fair, so maybe that's why. I think this goes higher because I do think it's really fucking good. And I think the play ceiling for this is very low. So Volcarona, I think you need to be a decent player to get something out of Volcarona. Same as Mew. To get the most potential out of Mew, you need to be a decent player. Hyrum, I feel like, is just pick up and play. Like, I feel like most people just click buttons with this thing and do well. I think that gives it value because... it's easy. It's easy mode. Easy to draft around as well, in my opinion. So, yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. Its only real switch in right now is Spadef Fairies. Now I got access to Freeze Dry. I think it also has, like, Iron Head for them, but meh. But, yeah, like, Spadef Fairies is about the only thing that really wants to switch in under this. DD's pretty funky, and you can really abuse. Like, let's say you partner this with Terrakion, then suddenly those Spadef Fairies can't take your Stone Edges. So, it's so easy to build a core around that thing. So easy. Speaking of so easy to build a core around, I don't give a fuck how many people are going to be mad at this. Keldurr's good. Keldurr is good, and it represents so much value, and it gets flip turn now, which I haven't got to abuse yet, but I think that shit could be really abusable. You know, you bait in an Amoonguss, you flip turn out into something that takes advantage of those passive things. You bait in a Slowbro, you pivot out and something that takes advantage of those passive things. You know, you partner it with a Weavile. Whew. You're going to pop off. So, yeah, people are going to be mad at this, but I tried to be objective, and then I saw Keldurr, and I was like, I do think it's worse than these other guys, though, but... Alright, so this is an interesting one. Nastyplot Alakazam. So this was a tier 2 last generation. I actually voted for it to be in tier 1 in the GDL, I believe. With Expanding Force and Indeedee around, this thing hits so fucking hard on Psychic Spam teams. You just can't prep for it. Nastyplot is great. This thing though, like Mew, has a certain barrier to entry. I don't think a lot of people use Alakazam well. I drafted it in APA Academy, had it for like 4 games. One of my favorite Pokemon I've ever used. I've been dying to draft it ever since, but it's hard to fit on a team. You look at it and you're like, As an offensive mon, like in Draft League, it seems like it could be counterable fairly easy. It used to be Pursuit Trappable pretty easily. I think the problem with this mon is we don't see it used well enough, often enough. I'm going to dump it in here because I think it is worse than Conk, maybe. But I think it's better than the other two. I've maybe overhyped T-Tar. I'm going to concede defeat because I do think Zam's better than T-Tar. That feels bad, man. That feels bad. Yeah, I think in that spot, this thing's really good. Again, with the next DLC, maybe it'll move down. But if I see someone use it well, it could move up. I just yet to see someone really get the most out of the Nastyplot set. So I'm open to have my mind changed there. And I hope I'm the one that changes it. Because I do want to draft this thing at some point and use it well. Because I have a lot of belief in it. Alright, here comes the most controversial take. I know this thing's UU now, and I know Aegislash is crap, and it's like, there's 2 mons right now. We're going to get the other one. We're going to do them both together, because I think we should, because they're both controversial. I'm putting them both there. There's the most fashionable thing in Draft League right now, and I see this all the time. I comment about this in my front office. I see Draft League fashions, and some of them, I mean, none of them tilt me, because at the end of the day, a lot of the Draft League community is younger than me, and it's a lot of people getting hyped and talking shit, and I get hyped and talk shit, and I'm an old man, so you guys are entitled to as well. But I remember a time when Greninja was being touted as like a round 1 pick. Like, I'm talking Torrent Greninja. And people were saying that boy was like, you know, a tier 1 mon pretty much. And people were raving about Torrent Gren. And it was just like, no. Torrent Gren's good, but shut up. It's not that good. It's not that good. And right now, the fashion is to say that Aegislash and Melmetal are trash, right? That's the big thing right now. Melmetal, garbage. Ugh. No. Melmetal is a round 1 pick. Melmetal is so fucking strong. If you aren't getting the best out of Melmetal, that's on you. I've drafted this thing. I've used this thing. It's really fucking good. I've played against this thing, and I've slapped it before. Yes, you can definitely outplay it, and if it's not played well, you can outplay it even easier. I've played against it and got 6-0'd by it before because it was played well. In the right matchups, with the right team support, with the right player, this thing goes crazy. This is my same argument with Heatran, man. People used to shit on Heatran and be like, Heatran's bad. No, you just can't use Heatran well. Oh, Gator's the only person that can use Heatran well. No, you just only watch the big leagues. If you watch the right people use certain mons, they have so much potential. And I don't mean that like, sure, you could say, well, I used Maractus and got something out of it. That's fine. But I'm saying a lot of good players will get a fuck ton out of Melmetal and a fuck ton out of Aegislash. Aegislash especially, I understand it got the nerf with King's Shield being nerfed to only -1 in attack instead of -2 in attack. And it got 10 taken out of attack and defense in its different forms. So, or both attacks and both defenses in its different forms. So I get that it was nerfed. It doesn't matter. Aegislash is so versatile. It can do so much. Choice Band, Choice Spec, Swords Dance, Autotomize, like Lefties, Sub, Toxic. There's so much, so many sets. A good player, it's like in the Magearna argument, right? I could use Magearna, I'd probably be terrible with it. I could give Eric Magearna, I don't want to play it. I don't want to play that game. I could give Ben Magearna, don't want to play it. I could give them Aegislash, don't want to do it. This thing in the right hands is better than Clefable in the right hands, and that's my point. Its ceiling, while it's hard to play well, its ceiling is higher than anything else on this board, these top 3. And I honestly, truly believe that. Melmetal hits like a truck, it's bulky as fuck. If you draft it on the right bulky offense team with like a Vaporeon or a Clefable or something to wish it back up. I had it with Latias, Clefable, Rotom Heat. Crazy. Crazy. That thing went crazy. Oh, so good. Anyway, I'm going to move on from rimming some steel types. Let's talk about Hawlucha. Hawlucha, same old Hawlucha, right? Terrain got nerfed slightly, but it doesn't change Hawlucha with its Unburden stuff. It also got access to Brave Bird and CC. It can do White Herb CC sets now to proc its Unburden, so it can be more independent. To me, it's still really good. It's really great speed control in this meta game. The problem with the Hawlucha is that the terrain setters are worse. It doesn't have Tapu Koko anymore. It doesn't have any Tapus anymore. But I don't think that makes Hawlucha worse of a Pokemon. Without Zapdos or stuff like that around to check it anymore, I think it's better than ever. It just needs some decent terrain setters back, or someone to pick it up with like Rillaboom and stuff. There's actually a good terrain setter. And Indeedee now is not bad with Expanded Force. Pincurchin can still suck one. I don't care about Rising Voltage. People overrate that. It's definitely B. Do I think it's better than Tarak? It's very similar to me. I'm going to put it there. I still think this is like a premier sweeper. Great speed control, great everything else. Yeah, really, really good mon. Don't sleep on it. We got Marini because I didn't have a sprite for Toxapex. I made these tiers myself. Shout out to me. I didn't have a sprite for Toxapex. Toxapex goes here to me. It's very exploitable in Draft League. That's the thing. Yeah, in OU, it's fantastic. I agree with you. And I'm not a big, like, sure, I like to shit talk Stall and stuff, but I don't actually hate it. But in Draft League, it's very easy to exploit. It's taunt food, it's sub food, it's, yeah, it gets haze, but it's still setup fodder. T-Spikes are great, bulky regen is great. It definitely has a place in tier 1 right now, but again, actually I'm going to put it here because I'd probably move it down when we get the next DLC. Pex, people that moan about Pex just don't prep well enough for Pex, that's my opinion. If you prep well enough for it, it's actually a bonus your opponent has it, not the drawback. It benefits you that they're bringing that passive shit, so that's my opinion. And again, that's probably not that well played Pexes. Good Pex players will make it look not passive. But yeah, now on to Komodo. And I actually think Komodo is, again, the sleeper pick of this generation for me. At early gen, people were spamming it with body press and were drafting it earlier. I think it's really good. I think it's really, really good. I do think it deserves its spot in tier 1, where last gen it was a tier 2. Maybe with the DLC it might drop, depending on how good everything else gets. But right now, I do think it's a tier 1 mon, but I think it's the bottom of tier 1. I'm actually going to swap those two, I think, because yeah, I think that's fairer. Yeah, I might even do that, actually, because it gives you Stealth Rock, gives you a Dragon, gives you a great Rock Resist off the bat, which is really, really useful in Draft League. Yeah, it gives you good DD and Autotomize options, good physical special. Oh, Komodo is very versatile. I'm actually going to keep moving it up. Yeah, I think it's excellent. I think it's... No, I'm not. Azumarill is too powerful. Okay, there we go. That's where we're at. Good. I'm glad we're all agreed. Moving on. Necrozma. This boy, like, I kind of think of being around here. It offers so much now. I think it's probably top of A. With, like, DD sets, Rock Polish sets, did it get Cosmic Power? I don't know, but it gets Iron Defense, Calm Mind sets. Stealth Rocks, Knockoff. I think it's T-Wave and stuff. It can be supportive, it can be a physical wall, it can be a special wall, it can be a physical sweeper, it can be a special sweeper, Calm Mind as well. It just does everything. It's got Mew Syndrome, it's just a worse Mew, basically. It does everything, and it has an incredible ability that makes it so hard to kill and makes weakness policy sets viable, which is fucking horrifying. I loved it with Z moves, so I do feel like it hurts not having Z moves, but yeah, this thing is sensationally good. Sensationally good. Photon Guys is kind of a busted move as well, so yeah, top of A for me, top of A. Zeraora, I know Vepsis loves this thing. I think it's really good. Its speed control is phenomenal. It's like the fastest relevant Pokemon in this metagame, which in of itself is good. It gets all the coverage it kind of needs. It gets set up and bulk up. I can't mind. I do think it's really good. I'm trying to decide where in A it goes, because it's definitely A for my brain. I definitely shouldn't have put Keldeo ahead of Volcarona and Hydreigon and Jirachi. People are going to be mad. I recovered my sanity. We're okay. I'm going to keep moving it up, I think. I think it goes right there. Yeah, I think Zeraora is fantastic. I don't think it's quite as good as the other guys. People are going to hate my drill placement as well. If I was trying to be like what everyone wanted me to be, drill would be probably like here, but I don't give a shit. Drill's there. Drill's a good boy. Slowbro, this thing should go down to tier 2 with the next DLC. Right now, it's fucking amazing. It's one of the best walls in the format, but ultimately, like, it's still just Slowbro. Like, it's great. Calm Mind, Nastyplot stuff is great. Trick Room's great. Actually, a good player will get a lot out of this. For me, I thought it would be better than it was, to be honest with you. When we were tearing for Owl, we were all hyped as fuck on this thing. Eric got me so gassed about this thing. And now I'm like, it's still great, but it's still slow, bro. Like, it's a little bulky, fat regen pivot, but you can exploit it. You can take advantage of it. Teleport is really good on it. It's going to go there for now, because I'm not sure it will move down with the new DLC. This is all like stuff that I think could move down with the DLC. I'm going to move you up, because I really think you have so much potential. Right, Rillaboom. Rillaboom's really interesting to me, because before the terrain, it was good. But with terrain, it's like, is it that much better? So, hold on before you crucify me for that. I understand its grass stab is a lot stronger. I understand that that's great team support. I have never liked grassy terrain, I'll be honest with you. I think grassy terrain on offensive builds is not ideal. So I would rather draft this with like a more defensive build. And then, I'm not crazy about it on those builds either. It's a good pivot. I don't know about grassy terrain Rillaboom. I feel like I just haven't seen enough. Grassy Glide, Swords Dance Grassy Glide is really good. I'm going to put him there, and that might be a controversial take. Maybe Rillaboom's really good. Maybe I'm just not woke to it yet, but give me time, and maybe I'd move that one up. I don't know. It still has its limitations to me. It still doesn't have a great speed tier. It still doesn't have a great Spadef stat. I don't believe it has a way of boosting its speed that's that relevant. It still is monograss, which is to me as an offensive typing. Drum Beating is a great move, but it's not that strong, so I'd rather run like Banded Woodhammer if I'm going offensive in grassy terrain. Knockoff is great, U-turn is great. I don't know. I want to see more. I want to see more from Rillaboom, see what it can really do. It doesn't look like these lads to me, because these lads are big lads, and I'm not sure about Rillaboom yet. Corviknight, on the other hand, big lad. Needs the right team support, needs the right draft around it. Again, most people don't use it well. Veps has fucked me with this thing in UBL. He used it well. He used it well. I actually think this goes up in A tier. I think people have started to maybe neglect it a bit as the generation's gone on. Don't sleep. This thing's fantastic. Eric messes me up with this thing every time I mock him with it. Every time I mock him and he has a Corviknight, Eric 6-0s me with it. Every time. Very good Corviknight player. I think it's here. I think it's there. But honestly, it could go higher. It beats so many of these things as well. Look, like it can viably sort of take on a Melmetal depending on the set. It can viably take on some Aegislash sets. It can viably take on Clefable. It beats the hell out of Excadrill, as I found out the hard way. It can help out against Necrozma to some extent, although less so. I can help out with Hydreigon, Jirachi, Gothitelle. Like, it beats so many fucking Hawlucha. So many. I might move it up, to be honest with you. I think it's so good. I'm going to put it there. That's tough, because it might be better than Clef. But Clef gives your draft so much. I don't know. Garbage. Absolute garbage. Like, Dracozolt is just terrible. Hustle, don't even bother with it. Don't even bother with the Hustle set. It just miss. It's fucking awful. Sandrush, fine. You're going to click Bolt Beak into a ground type. Like, every draft should have a ground type or at least one electric immunity, if not two. It's nowhere near as spammable as Water Stab on Dracovish. So, it's just not good. And it really doesn't break through the bulky ground types. Like, say it comes up against a Hibaudon. What are you going to do? Like, what are you going to do? Nothing. If you're going to do fucking nothing. Yeah, I think this thing's garbage. Absolute garbage. I wouldn't have put it in tier 1 even with the Sandrush. And I know these were tiered in tier 1 because we had access to hidden abilities in this league. Dracovish, on the other hand. The thing with Dracovish is, against a good draft and a good player, it will do nothing. But I mean, I played against it the other day in Owl where I had a Mega Slowbro, and I think it's still got 2 KOs. So, unless you have like a Vaporeon or a Jellicent, and even Jellicent get crunched, it is still annoying. It's just annoying. It's just an obnoxious mon. I don't think it's ban-worthy because I think it's good, but I'd like to ban Dracovish just to clean up the metagame, just so we don't all have to draft a water immunity. Because it's just annoying. Yeah, I just don't like this Pokemon. I don't like it at all. It is definitely A tier though, because there will be games where it just 6-0s. Against bad drafts, it will just 6-0. And if you are a decent player, you can remove the checks to Dracovish and you can build around it to pressure the checks to Dracovish, and then again, you're 6-0. So, just an obnoxious Pokemon. I'd probably put it behind Zera though, because I just think, I just don't like Dracovish. Like I say, good players will beat Dracovish every time, but that's what it is. Dragapult is the best Pokemon in the format where Mew is banned. It might be better than Mew, but again, to me, this is the Tapu Koko of this generation. The reason that I thought Tapu Koko was the best Pokemon in Gen 7 is because it could do so much. It had a great supportive move pool, Defog, Taunt, Calm Mind, all that shenanigans, Roost. It had a great speed stat. It was strong when it wanted to be offensive. It could wall break, calm mindsets, whatever. It had all the coverage it needed. Tapu Koko just was this Swiss Army knife Pokemon that was so versatile and fast, so important, fast, that it could do anything. Dragapult, even fucking faster. Will-O-Wisp, Sub, Disable, all those supportive things that it can do. Cursed Body, Infiltrator, Dragon Darts is a busted move. I remember, I don't know if this episode ever went up, and it probably doesn't exist anymore, but I remember when I saw this thing in-game in Sword and Shield, I caught it, and then I went online, looked at its stats, and I was like, this is going to be a round 1 pick, first overall pick in every league. And I started speaking to people, and people were like, it's not that good. It's not that good. Oh, it got better special moves, so it's not going to be that good. No, this thing is crazy. I fucking knew it would be. Again, much like Mew, I've seen it used badly. I'm using it right now in one league very badly. I'm not a good Dragapult player, but that doesn't mean it's a bad Pokemon. It means I'm a bad player. Yeah, it might even be better than Mew. I don't know. Right now, I'm pretty hot on Mew. I think Mew's in the right hands is broken. But Dragapult is, to me, I think there's a legitimate argument. Now, luckily, no fucker got the most out of it that I saw particularly. But if we had known how good Dragapult was pre-DLC, I think there was an argument this thing should have been banned. Honestly, I think it was comfortably head and shoulders better than anything else we had pre-DLC. But luckily, we hadn't quite figured it out yet. The top players in at least the Wi-Fi community hadn't yet maximized this thing's potential. Thank God that metagame didn't last much longer, because otherwise I think this would have started to get broken and would have been borderline bannable. And that's a hot take that some people will disagree with, but Rapid Strike Urshifu, I haven't seen it used well yet. I'm sure it's good, but I just haven't seen it used well yet. It is very Rocky Helmet bait. I still think sub bulk up sets could be great though. That's the thing. I think like sub bulk up, Iron Head or Poison Jab Drain Punch could be great. It's like here for me maybe. I believe in this Urshifu. I believe it could be fantastic. It's typing same as Keldeo, and Keldeo is great. It's a great typing to have. But I just haven't seen it used well yet. It might move up, it might move down. I just need to see more. It's so new. It's so new. This Urshifu definitely better, undeniably better now. I think we've all figured that much out. I think as a wall breaker, it's one of the premier wall breakers. I don't think it's as good in draft as it is on. Actually, it might be better in draft than it is on the ladder. Now I stop and say that, because you're going to abuse the bulk up sets in some matches, banded in some matches. I think this thing has phenomenal potential. I really do as a wall breaker. I'm going to put it there just behind Zeraora, because I do think Zeraora's speed and stuff is more valuable. There's so many other fighting types like, you know, Terrakion, Keldeo, stuff like that you can pick up and do Urshifu's job. Whereas Zeraora is pretty unique, and in this metagame that speed is so fucking valuable. So I think it represents slightly worse value because of that. But this thing as well, make no mistake as well, a dark type that always crits, so you guarantee never lose to acid armor or iron defense psychics. Pretty fucking nice. So I like that. Yeah, definitely good value. It might move up. This could all change, but that's right now where I'm going to put it. Zaru's not a tier 1. It's a tier 2. It's a good tier 2. It's a good tier 2, but it's a tier 2. It's actually a better tier 2 than Dracozolt, to be fair. So, but it's a tier 2. Gengar, interesting Pokemon. Could see this thing move down as well as the metagame progresses. Yes, he got Nastyplot, and that is great. Yes, Pursuit's gone, and that is great. Ghost Spam is really strong. I don't think it will move down. It goes with Alakazam to me of being like fantastic, but I've yet to really see someone get the most out of it. Actually, I think Shuckle King and Leo did in their league where they partnered up. I think that and Dragapult they abused the fuck out of together. I'm going to put it like here. I feel like it isn't better than Alakazam though. Maybe it is. I like Alakazam a lot. I don't know. I think it's really good. I think it's really, really good. When I played Skyrander with it, it was so hard. So hard to handle. And I had a goddamn Mandibuzz, and it was still hard to handle. On the right team composition, this thing can do bits. It can do absolute bits. Yeah, I think it probably needs to go higher. I think I'm underrating it. Because its stabs are really good. It has the coverage. It needs to break through almost every type that it comes up against. It's just every time I've used it, I've really struggled with it. And its speed tier is so valuable. Ghost Spam is so valuable in this metagame. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to move it all the way up there. Wow, I can't believe I'm doing that. Do I really think that? Nastyplot Gengar, though. No, I don't really think that. I'm getting carried away. I'm going to put it there. That can move down as well. I'm just going off potential. What I think that Pokemon could do in the right hands. And I think on the right offensive core, that thing could go crazy still. So trick sets are nice as well with choice. So yeah, ghost types are still so valuable in this metagame. So that's my tier list for tier 1. I could change this in half an hour's time. Disagree with half of these takes because it's tough. It's tough sitting down with no prep. But yeah, this is roughly what I think. Let me know which opinion made you feel most violated. Let's zoom out a little bit. Which one do you hate the most? I don't know. I really want to move Keldurr back up, but yeah, I think that's about right. Let me know what you guys think. I think this was fun. If you guys would like to see me do tier 2, let me know. Leave this video a like, all that good shit. Thank you so much for loafing around with me, and I'll catch you again next time.